Hello my dear friends of SYBA semester 4. In this video lecture we are going to discuss the second unit of our syllabus, that is poetry unit. We know very well friends that the poetry unit contains three poems. The first poem we are going to discuss today, and the name of the first poem is She Walks in Beauty. She Walks in Beauty, it's a beautiful poem written by a very famous poet Lord Byron. So before going to discuss this poem, let us discuss about the very famous poet Lord Byron. Lord Byron was an English poet and a leading figure in romantic revival, romantic movement. It is also known as romantic revival. The meaning of this is that there are several movements into English poetry. Among those several movements, romantic movement is one of the most famous movement of English poetry, and Lord Byron is one of them. And all those figures, all those poets who wrote their poetry in romantic movement, all those people, all those poets are known as romantics. So Lord Byron was one of the romantics. He wrote during the early 19th century, that is the period of romantic revival. Lord Byron is regarded as one of the greatest English poets and remains widely read and influential. His poetry is very famous, and that is why he is widely read. After that, it is said that Lord Byron continued to produce poetry until the death of his life, until 1824. And unfortunately, he died only at 35. So this is all about the introduction to the poet Lord Byron. Now let us come to the poem She Walks in Beauty. There are three stanzas into this poem. Let us take a look of all these three stanzas one by one. So first stanza, I would like to suggest all my friends that you should look at all the terms and phrases they are used into these poems. They are very beautiful and all are very effectively written by the poet. First stanza is, she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. This is all about the first stanza. The second stanza is, one shed the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace, which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express, how pure, how dear their dwelling place. The third and the last stanza is like this. And on the cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow. But tale of days in goodness paint, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. This is all about the lyrics of the poem She Walks in Beauty. Friends, the title of the poem She Walks in Beauty itself suggests the theme of the poem. So let us discuss the theme. She Walks in Beauty is a lyric poem. Now we know very well about lyric poem. Lyric is one of the types of poem. Poems are written into several types. So lyric is one of them. So this is a lyric poem, and it is centering on the extraordinary beauty of a young lady. As I said earlier, that She Walks in Beauty itself suggests what is the theme of the poem. Here Lord Byron is talking about she, that means some particular lady, and she walks in beauty, that means that beautiful lady is there. She is extraordinarily beautiful, and by impressing over the beauty of that lady, Lord Byron has written this poem. It is a sort of inspiration for the poet to write this beautiful poem. So it is said further that Lord Byron wrote this poem in 1814. The poem was inspired by an actual event in Byron's life. It is said that the incident of seeing that beautiful lady is actually happened in the life of Lord Byron. It is said that in one party, Byron was inspired by the sight of his cousin, the beautiful Mrs. Wilmot, who was wearing a black brightened morning dress. So that lady is not new to Byron. That lady was Mrs. Wilmot, who was a cousin of Lord Byron, and due to her extraordinary beauty, Lord Byron has written this poem. So Mrs. Wilmot is a sort of inspiration for Lord Byron to write this beautiful poem. It is said further that Byron was struck by his cousin's dark hair and fair face, the mingling of various lights and shade. So, with the help of all these images, he has written this wonderful and beautiful poem. She walks in beauty. This is the theme of the poem. Let us move further. As we have already discussed, already read the three stanzas of this poem, let us discuss this stanza one by one. Before that, friends, I would like to suggest you that keep the text of the poem in front of you, and then only go through this video, so that you can at a time you can look at the stanza and look at the meaning of those stanzas here on the screen. So let us discuss the first stanza. The first stanza describes the physical appearance of the woman. He describes the night with bright stars and compares his woman to that night. So night and bright stars, all these are the images used by Lord Byron into this poem to describe the beauty of that lady. And this first stanza is based on the beauty of Mrs. Wilmot, her physical as well as intellectual beauty. It describes night and dark coming together in her appearance. एकाच वेळेस रात्र आणि अंधार या दोन्ही गोष्टी त्या स्त्रीच्या सौंदर्यामध्ये आहेत असं तो म्हणतो. ही सेज व्हॉट इज डार्क अँड व्हॉट इज लाईट. ही सेज दॅट इन हर डार्क हर हेअर आर डार्क अँड व्हॉट इज लाईट द कॉम्प्लेक्शन ऑफ हर फेस. तिच्या चेहऱ्यावरचा जो चेहऱ्यावरची जी झळाळी आणि तेज आहे त्याला तो लाईट असं म्हणतो. बट ही ऑल्सो सेज दॅट दे मीट इन हर आईज. सो देर इज अ combination of dark and light in her eyes, and he says further that the eyes are often associated with the person's soul and reveal the heart. We say that the eyes reflect everything. डोळ्यामध्ये सगळ्या काही भावना आपण व्यक्त करू शकतो असं तो म्हणतो. अँड ही सेज दॅट डार्क अँड लाईट both these opposite complexions, they are coming together into the beautiful lady's eyes. And he says that so he is suggesting the opposite meets in her soul as well. The radiance of that woman is so rich and bright that even the bright day would have been gaudy. He says further about the shining face of that lady, and it is so shining, so bright that he compares that shining face with the bright day, and he says her face is more beautiful than the bright day. This is all about the description of the first stanza. Now moving further to the second stanza of this poem. What is here into second stanza? The second stanza describes both her physical as well as intellectual beauty. So it is nothing but the continuation of the same theme. What is here into this second stanza? The combination of opposite forces, shade and ray, creates balance in this woman. So shade and ray, all these terms are there into second stanza. That is why I said, my friends, that you should keep the text in front of you before going through this video lecture. So he says that the combination of opposite forces, shade and ray, creates balance in this woman. So this is the woman where there is a balance of shade and ray. These are actually different items, but both these different items, both these different forces, indeed opposite forces, they are well balanced into the beauty of this woman. This balance in the lady's beauty is so perfect that adding one shade and removing one more ray would have spoiled her beauty. So there is no need to add something or remove something from this woman, from this beautiful lady, because she is the symbol of the perfection of the beauty, he says. Her beauty and race are so hard to define that they are nameless. Nameless is a term used here. Why? Because by using the word nameless, he enlarged the woman's beauty as well as greatness. So nameless is in a way priceless. ती अमूल्य अशी एका सौंदर्याची मूर्ती आहे असं तो म्हणतो. And finally, into the second stanza, he says that the expressions of the woman show how sweet her thoughts are. See, the expressions are nothing but the reflection of the thoughts which are going on inside our mind, inside our brain. So he says her expressions are beautiful, they are so sweet, and that is why he says her thoughts are also sweet. So her expressions reflect what is going on into her mind, which is dwelling place of her thoughts. So the expressions, they are on the face, but the thoughts are into the mind of that beautiful lady. And as she is beautiful, her thoughts are also beautiful, and her thoughts are the dwelling place. ड्वेलिंग प्लेस म्हणजे जिथे राहतात ते, जिथे त्यांचं निवासस्थान आहे. सो ड्वेलिंग प्लेस इज नथिंग बट हर माइंड. सो ब्युटिफुल आर द थॉट्स, beautiful and sweet are the thoughts of that lady. The sweetness of this lady's expression suggests that her mind is pure and innocent. The sweetness of those expressions which are coming on the face of that lady, they are pure as well as innocent. So this is all about the second stanza, the description of the second stanza. So moving on to the third stanza. In the last and the final stanza, poet again talks about her physical as well as intellectual beauty, the same continuation of the thought into the third and the final stanza. It is said that her cheeks and her smiles are beautiful. Now he is talking about her face. Her cheeks and smiles are beautiful. The expressions like all these italics words are the terms, phrases from the poem itself. Days in goodness spent. Another is mind at peace. And third is heart whose love is innocent. All these expressions, they are used by Lord Byron into this poem. So these expressions express that the woman's inner thoughts are pure and graceful, just as her appearance. As he has been describing about the lady, that her face is beautiful, she is a symbol of beauty, she is a completely beautiful lady. In the same way, her thoughts, inner thoughts are pure as well as graceful like her appearance. As in the previous stanza, he once again shows that theme of this poem is woman's physical beauty along with her internal beauty. So beauty is not only the physical beauty of that lady, but he says further that she is beautiful from her face and appearance, as well as she is beautiful into her mind and soul, and that is her internal beauty. So she is a symbol of beauty. The importantly, she is not only physically beautiful, but she is also internally beautiful. So this is all about the meaning of the third stanza into this poem. So boys and girls, thank you so much for your kind listening. I hope you have understood this poem. We will discuss the another poems once again into separate lectures. Thank you once again.